Hello, very good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? Yes, in the chat box, if I am visible and audible to you clearly. Let me know in the chat box. Okay, great. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so happy to see all the wonderful people over here. And let me start the session. So, I welcome each and every one of you for this healing session where every Saturday we are going to discuss about some of the most important health knowledge and health aspects, and we are going to discuss about how to heal our body, right, naturally. And every week we will be coming up with a new health topic, right? So I welcome each and every one of you for showing up, and let's start the session. Just give me 1 second. Okay, great. Yeah, today we have an interesting topic, right? The topic which most of the people are having confusion and most people always ask, right? So definitely I'm going to reveal it. So before that, let me ask you a question, my dear friends, right? We human beings are actually designed to be living healthy for 100, 120, 130 years without any disease, right? Because we have been given everything by the nature. We have all the organs, right? The mechanism, the digestion, and the most important thing is healing power, right? So our body has the ability to heal any of the issues, abnormalities, disorders in the body, right? But somehow, maybe in the last 200 years, 300 years, 400 years, because of our lifestyle, slowly we are actually losing the ability, or we are actually forgetting using that natural healing power, right? So before understanding exactly what is this healing power and all these things, first of all, what contributes to health issues for humans, right? If someone is having any health issue, what happens? Immediately we have the conditioning, we have the habit of which hospital should I go, right? Who is the best doctor? Let me check who is the best doctor in the town, right? And you will always ask somebody who knows the doctor, who knows the particular type of hospital, right? But my dear friends, have you ever asked yourself if you have any health issue, maybe fever, cold, cough, or any kind of pains in your body, or maybe if you are suffering from any health issue, did you ever ask yourself about what could be the contributor of this health issue, right? So what I may be doing wrong, did you ever ask about yourself? So that is the most important thing, right? So let's understand what are the contributors of any health issue for human body. These are the four things, because these are the inputs for the human body, right? Having good sleep is something which has been given for us, right? You don't have to pay any price, you don't have to buy it, right? It has been given by the nature, having a good sleep. Number two, eating a healthy and balanced diet, right? So that is the input for our body. And number three, physically active, because our body has been designed in such a way that the more you move, right, the more your muscles will be healthy, and the better your metabolism, and the better your digestion, the better your elimination, and the better the healing, right? And the fourth one is mental well-being. So it is not just the body that decides whether you will be healthy or not, right? Which is the driver for the body? Your mind, right? So are you actually doing at least one or two practices which is training your mind to be healthy, right? If you don't have any healthy rituals, any habits to train your mind, how do you expect your mind would be doing all good things for you, right? Mind does not know what is good and what is bad for you. Mind knows what you have we have been trained, and mind wants to do that again and again, right? So that is why mental well-being, right? So these are the four pillars of health for the human beings, right? If you are someone who is having any health issue, any abnormality, any disorder, right? Any physical health issue, mental health issue, emotional health issue, or you are not feeling well, you feel sick, you feel low energy, emotionally broke down. If you have any of these things, don't immediately jump and don't try to see the doctor, best doctor in the world, right? Just ask yourself, where am I doing wrong? As simple as that. If you would have asked this question, what would have happened? You would have come to this simple template. Am I sleeping well? Am I giving rest to my body to be able to detox, to be able to heal, right? Am I actually giving the healthy and balanced diet? Am I actually physically active, or I'm lethargic? I'm not moving my body, I'm not moving my muscles. Am I actually practicing at least 5-10 minutes of mental well-being in the form of either deep breathing or doing some self-reflection, meditation, gratitude, whatever may be, right? So if you would have gone to this particular four pillar template, if you would have fixed these four, then you don't have to visit any doctor, you don't need any pharma chemical medications from outside, right? How many of you agree with me? A in the chat box if you are someone who thinks it makes sense, and if you agree with me regarding this. Okay, great, 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 great. Wonderful. So most of you agree with me, right? My dear friends, the most unfortunate thing is nobody taught us in the school exactly what is health, what are these four pillars, right? What are the best practices, and what are the possible mistakes we may be doing, right? If everybody knows that, at least we will be aware and we take measures, right? So the most unfortunate thing is nobody taught us in the school, nobody is promoting it in the media, right? All the news media is always busy in creating the sensations, right? So our mind has been wired in such a way. So that is why it is very important to educate ourselves, just taking little time, right? Educating ourselves. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time, right? Taking the time to learn these things so that you will become the self healer in the future, right? So I'm gonna discuss each one by one in the upcoming sessions. Today, I'm going to focus only on diet. Okay, the small portion of diet. Okay, and when it comes to diet, when it comes to food you are eating, right? What are the three things that will determine your health? What you eat, when you eat, how you eat, right? As simple as that. Very simple. What you eat will determine your health. When you eat will determine your health. How you eat will absolutely determine your health, right? So in the detox program or some of these programs, we have extensively discussed about what to eat, right? At least somehow we have the knowledge, but we were never taught when to eat, how to eat, right? So today I'm going to discuss about it very briefly. I don't want to overwhelm, right? Simple concept, very effective, and you can practice it right away and you can get the results immediately and instantly, right? How many of you are ready for that? Are in the chat box. Okay, great. So let's discuss about when to eat, right? So when it comes to when to eat, most people have this question, right? How many of you has this dilemma, has this question on your mind? Is eating small and frequent meals is good for health, or eating less number of meals is good for health, right? You have been seeing maybe in the social media or people around you, right? Nowadays it became a trend that people say that eat small meals frequently, right? Eat 7 meals, 8 meals a day, small meals. In the morning, start with 4 almonds, and then have breakfast, and then mid morning have a fruit, and then have lunch, right, in low quantity, and then snack, and then dinner, and before going to bed eat little bit of something, nuts or seeds or whatever, right? So on one side it becomes a trend, on the other side you will be listening to, right, if you eat less number of times you will be more healthy, right? All the yogis, rishis, munis, they were eating once a day, twice a day, right? Because of that they don't have any health issue, and they don't go to any doctor, they don't approach any kind of pharma medications, right? So there is a whole lot of big confusion over there, right? So that is why I would like to give clarity about that. Okay, today we are going to understand, should we eat small frequent meals, or should we eat less number of meals, one meal, two meal, three meals a day, right? How many of you are excited to know this particular concept? Okay, excited, E in the chat box. Great, so many of you. My dear friends, before finalizing what is the good thing for your body, right? Let's understand what happens every time you eat a meal, right? Every time you put some food in your mouth, okay? Food means anything which should be digested in your body. So I'll give you some examples. You drink water. What happens? Water will be digested, but water is not something which starts your digestion, right? Water can be easily absorbed from your stomach wall itself, right? So water is not something which has to be digested. Number two, you eat a samosa. What happens? It has to be digested. You eat roti. It has to be digested, right? You eat fruit. It has to be digested, right? You eat a one peanut, just one single peanut, what happens? It has to be digested. So everything which has to be digested, right? If you eat, what happens? Let's understand, right? So every time you eat, okay, if you are eating, your body will produce stomach acid to break down the food and to digest the food, right? To be able to digest the food, it has to broken down the food. To break down the food, it needs stomach acid, right? So every time you eat, any quantity, doesn't matter whether you eat a big bahubali meal or you eat a small peanut, right, for tasting, just to know how it is, doesn't matter, immediately your stomach will produce stomach acid, and it starts breaking down the food, right? So what happens if you start eating, if you eat 7 times a day, 8 times a day, 9 times a day, what happens? Every time you eat food, your body produces stomach acid, and this stomach acid will actually put a lot of pressure on your stomach walls, because acid is acid, right? So acid has to be produced 2 times, 3 times a day, right? Or 4 times a day. If it continuously produces 7 times, 8 times, 10 times, 12 times, 13 times a day, what happens? It will damage the inner layer, right? So that is the reason why people who have this gastritis, stomach ulcers, peptic ulcers, right? One of the main reason is excessive production of acid, right? More number of times in a day, right? So this brings me to an example where uh, some 8 years ago, one of my aunt, right, my mother's sister, she was suffering from acidity problem. Okay, I asked her, how many meals you eat in a day? She told 3 meals. I just eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's it. Breakfast, I eat idli, dosa, puri, whatever is available on that day. Lunch, I eat rice and one curry. And dinner, I eat some roti or chapati. That's it. Right. So what did I do is, once I went to her house and I have seen what she has been doing throughout the day. Right. So in the morning when she wakes up at 7:30, she has taken a tea, right, in the morning at 7:30, one small glass of tea, and then at 9 a.m. she took her breakfast. At 11:30 somebody comes to her house, some neighbor, and they are just chit chatting about the some cereal or something, and she wanted to give certain things, she want to offer certain snack to her. So that's when she offered the snack, and she has put some two or three cashews in her mouth, right? And after that, she goes at 1 p.m. She has taken the lunch, right? And at 3:34 p.m. she has taken a small cup of tea, right? And in the evening at 6:30, she went to a nearby grocery store. She brought all the groceries, right? She bought groceries. She took it to the home, and somehow she feels that the peanuts are not up to the mark. It is not quality as she generally takes. So that is why she tasted that peanuts. She took four peanuts, she ate it, and somehow she feels that she need to eat another two peanuts. That's it, six, seven peanuts she ate, right? And then at 8:30, she has taken the dinner. And then again at 9:30 or 10 p.m., somehow her son wants to eat some ice cream, right? So she has tasted that ice cream at around 10:30, right? So this is what I have observed, my dear friends. How many of you understand the difference between eating different meals, right? So she is thinking that she has been eating just 3 meals a day, right? But actually, how many meals she took technically from digestive point of time? She took more than 8 9 meals a day, right? Because she doesn't know that every time I eat, even if I eat one peanut, two peanuts also, my stomach acid has to be produced, right? My stomach enzymes has to be produced, right? My small intestine has to work, and my large intestine has to do the work. All these things she doesn't know, right? So that is why, if I am saying frequent meals, most of the people think that I'm not eating, I'm just eating 3 meals a day. But every time you eat anything which has to be digested, which has to go through the digestive process, consider it as a meal, right? So then calculate how many meals you are, right, eating. So let's see what happens if you eat more frequent meals, right? Five, six, seven, right? What happens? Number one, stomach acid. Your stomach has to produce stomach acid every time you eat, right? Doesn't matter if it is small amount of a small cup of tea or coffee, one peanut, one cashew, right? And number two, what happens is continuous eating will put the overload on your small intestine, and because of that, it does not actually absorb all kinds of nutrients. Because in the small intestine, if nutrients has to be absorbed, there are certain enzymes that will be produced, right? These enzymes cannot be produced every time, only at certain times when the food is actually being properly broken down in the stomach acid, then only these digestive enzymes will be produced, right? So every time you are putting frequent meals, the absorption will be hampered, right? Absorption will not happen properly. And number three, the most important thing is, every time you put anything in your mouth, like how stomach acid has to be secreted, insulin has to be secreted in your body, right? Because after eating the food, stomach breaks down the food, and after the stomach reaches the small intestine actually absorb the nutrients, and these nutrients will go to the blood, right? And these nutrients in the form of either glucose or fat or in the form of protein, it will be circulated in the blood, right? So that is our energy basically. So to keep that particular type of glucose or protein or fat, that nutrient, to each and every cell, to distribute to each and every cell, there is a vehicle that is called insulin, right? So every time you eat any meal, the amount of insulin has to be produced, and this insulin has to take this nutrients to each and every cell. That is how we get the energy, right? But what happens is, if you continuously eat something or the other every 3 hours, every 4 hours, or you keep eating, every time you produce more insulin, what happens is your body becomes insulin resistant, right? So what happens if your body becomes insulin resistance? It leads to diabetes or blood pressure or thyroid or PCOD or arthritis or fatty liver. So if you can see, majority of these metabolic issues The root cause is insulin resistance. So what is insulin resistance? Insulin is not working properly, right? I'll give you an example. How does insulin work in our body, right? So there is a person, X, who drinks alcohol, right? The first time he drinks alcohol, if he drinks little bit also, it gives kick to him, right? But once he drinks it for after every day, for an example, or every week he is drinking, after 6 months, what happens? It is not enough. He has to increase the quantity, the peg quantity, right? From 30 ml to 60 ml. Then it works for certain days. And after that, what happens? It does not give kick. And again, he has to increase the quantity, right? What is happening here? This alcohol is becoming resistant, right? Something which has been working earlier, now it becomes habituated to the body, and now you want more. Same thing happens, my dear friends. So insulin is something which has to be produced twice, thrice, maximum 3 to 4 times in a day. That is how our body is designed, right? But if we continuously making insulin to be produced in the body, what happens is it becomes resistance. That is the reason why, if you see 500 years ago, 600 years ago, there was no concept of diabetes or any kind of these issues, because there was no insulin resistance, because we did not have these many kinds of facilities for the food. People eat 1 or 2 meals a day, and sometimes 2 to 3 days they don't have any food, and then they eat, right? Because of that, insulin will be produced. For an example, in their entire lifetime, they will produce insulin in 1 lakh times. I'm just giving a number, right? Random number. So 1 lakh times they produce insulin, right? Throughout their life. But what happens nowadays? Because of food availability, we eat so many times, so much insulin has been produced, and we are actually producing 16 lakhs times of insulin, right? 16 times more we are producing, right? That is why it becomes resistance. It is not working on our body. So once it is not working in your body, once it loses the ability to take the nutrients from the blood to the cells, the condition is called diabetes. That is why we call it as sugar. Why people call it as sugar, diabetes? Because more sugar is in your blood, and sugar is not actually entering into your cells. That condition is called diabetes. And this is the root cause for majority of these issues like blood pressure, thyroid, PCOD, arthritis, obesity, right? For majority of these things, excess insulin, producing the excess insulin and insulin resistance is the biggest reason, right? So what is the reason for insulin resistance? Frequent meals, excessively producing the insulin. So that is why if you decrease the frequency of the meals, what happens? Insulin production will be lowered, and naturally your insulin becomes less resistant, and it will act in your body, and slowly you'll be able to come out of these conditions, right? And number 4, the most important thing, if you keep eating number of meals a day, number of times you eat, what happens is your gallbladder has to produce the bile juice, right? This bile juice is actually responsible to break down the fat in your body. So every time you eat any meal, if there is any fat, maybe you are eating ghee or you are eating any kinds of fats, it could be any kind of fats, because every food contains little bit of fat, right? So the cooking oil you are using is a fat, right? The eggs you are eating is a fat. Nuts you are eating contains fats. Some fruits contain fats. Some vegetables contains little bit fat, right? So everything contains fat. To break down the fat, our gallbladder produces bile juice, right? So for some of the people, if you keep on producing excess bile juice, what happens is this bile juice will be like stored in a particular pocket called gallbladder, right? Gallbladder, this thing is there. So what happens is excessive bile juice will create a situation called gallbladder stones, right? That is why nowadays, if you see, most of the people are suffering from gallbladder stones, right? They get pain, abdominal pain, they go to the doctor. Doctor says that you have gallbladder stones, we need to remove the gallbladder, right? One of the main reason is frequently eating, right? And then incomplete evacuation and fermentation in the colon. People who are suffering from lower digestive problems like bloating, right? Stomach discomfort, or farting, which means passing of gas after eating food. After 2 hours, 3 hours, you pass gas, discomfort, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, all these things. One of the main reason is incomplete evacuation. Either your bowel is not completely evacuated, and number two, the biggest thing that can happen is if you are eating frequently, what happens? There is a food that is waiting to be completely removed, right? And the undigested food. And again, you are putting another load of food. This undigested food and little digested food will actually combine and it will ferment, right? Let's take an example. So you are cooking rice, okay? So you are cooking it after half, maybe after 15 minutes of cooking, you are putting again rice into it. What happens? It will spoil, right? You cannot use that rice or this rice. Same thing happens. Every 3 hours, if you are eating, there is already certain food which is undigested, which is ready to be evacuated in your colon, right? There is a process for that. And you are putting another load. Both of these foods combine and ferments over there. Because of this fermentation only, you are seeing this bloating, right? Stomach pain, discomfort, feeling sluggish, constipation, all these things can happen. That is why it is very, very important to give the gap between the meals, right? And another one, no time for healing because of constant digestive load. How many of you know that only when our digestive system is actually at rest, then only healing happens in the body, right? All the time, if digestive system is working, producing stomach acids, producing digestive enzymes, producing bile juice, breaking down the food, and again in the small intestine there are certain enzymes that have to be produced to move the food, and in the large intestine there is a food that is being fermented. What happens? Where is the time for the healing for your body? Where are you giving time for the body to heal from inside, right? That is why it is very, very important to get the maximum healing in the body. Very important to actually keep the digestive system at rest, right? That is why early dinner, why we are saying early dinner is the most important thing if you are someone who is suffering from any kind of health issue, because you are actually giving the time for your digestive system, right, at rest, and then you are actually able to heal the body from inside, okay? And then no time for fat loss, right? If you are someone who is overweight, obese, excess weight, lot of fat is being deposited around your belly, throughout your body, right? What happens? If all the time, if you are if frequently eating, what happens? Every time you eat, insulin will be produced, and insulin is responsible to deposit the fat, right? So that is why you are not able to lose weight. But if you eat less number of meals, if you give more time for your body, if you don't produce more insulin in your body, what happens? Slowly the fat is being actually burned in the body, right? So it takes time. That is why it is very, very important, right? And the last one is hormonal balance, because there are certain hormones like ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is a hormone which says that you feel hungry, right? How do you know that you feel hungry? Suddenly in the morning at 9:30 you feel like lot of hunger, right? That's when you go and have grab a breakfast. So how does your body know that there is a hunger? Because there is a hormone called ghrelin which is being produced in your stomach that gives signals to your mind that you are hungry. Because of that you are feeling that hungry and you go and grab the food, right? And there is another hormone called leptin, that is a satiating hormone, right? So after you start eating the food, after certain number of bites, after eating three rotis, after eating a cup of rice, you feel like your stomach is full and you stop eating, because there is an hormone called leptin that is being produced. Whenever your stomach feels that food is enough, then actually it will produce leptin and it gives signals to your brain and immediately you stop eating, right? So what happens? People who eat frequently, right, every now and then, every 2 hours, 3 hours, are people who don't have control on eating, right? They don't have fixed pattern of eating. What happens is There is a very clear disturbance of producing these two hormones. That is why sometimes you feel hungry, dog hungry, right? Even after eating food 3 hours, 4 hours also, you feel hunger. Sometimes you don't feel hungry, even after one day also, right? You lost the appetite because the signaling system is lost. So eating too frequently can also contribute to these things. And in short, right? In short, I'll say if you can understand this one example, I think it will completely change your perspective. It will change the way you think and it will completely change the way you heal, right? How many of you are ready for this? Are in the chat box. My dear friends, understand one thing, right? Let me take an example. Okay. This is a rice mill. Okay. So where they put the raw rice, okay, and then it will produce the refined polished rice. The outcome is polished rice. For this, it has to go through a big process. They'll put the brown rice, the whole rice here, and then it has to go through multiple processes. After multiple processes, somewhere there will be a polished rice, right? Imagine there is a condition where they start the mission, okay, and they have actually processed 10 tons of rice, right? They start the machine and machine starts, and maybe in 1 hour 2 hours they got the outcome. And imagine in the second case, my dear friends, there is a person who brings just half kg of rice, right, to process it. What happens? Again the mission has to start, right? Again the entire process has to be done. Again the entire mission needs electricity to start. Every small equipment has to work, right? Again the outcome comes, which means even for half cash also the entire process has to start. My dear friends, the same thing happens here, right? You may be eating a big lunch or dinner, or you may be eating little 2 or 3 peanuts. Doesn't matter, right? For the digestive system, the digestive system has to start from the scratch, right? Even if you eat 2 or 3 peanuts also, what happens? It goes to the stomach, right? Stomach has to produce stomach acids, digestive enzymes, and small intestine has to produce certain enzymes to absorb, and bile juice has to be uh, like excreted to break down their fats, and insulin has to be produced, right? Your large intestine has to work. The entire process will start. This is where most people don't have the awareness, right? This is where the entire game, right? That is why, my dear friends, no snacking, right? If you take any kind of small snack also, again the entire process has to go through, even, which means for half kg of rice you are actually starting the entire mission, the entire factory, right? That is why it is very very important not to eat frequent meals. So frequent meals is not recommended for healthy human body, right? If you want to eat, then what is recommended? Eat complete meals, right? Whenever you feel hungry or whenever it is time to eat, put all the things at once, eat slowly, and then don't eat anything till the next meal, right? Don't do snacking, because snacking is the one habit. Eating small things whenever you feel anxious, whenever you feel emotionally eating, or you feel hungry for small things, right? If you continuously eat, what happens? The system has to start, and all these things will happen, right? That is why it is recommended for any human being, right? Doesn't matter, any human being, the best practice to do is eating meals everything at one time, giving good amount of gap, no snacking in between, and then going for the full-fledged meal, right? That is the best thing for humans. So what happens if you do that? If you do that, what happens? Your stomach acids will not be produced every now and then, so you don't get the irritation. Because of that, you don't get this gastritis, stomach ulcers, peptic ulcers, all these things. And better absorption, right? And insulin resistance will not happen. People who are suffering from, so you will prevent any of these issues like diabetes, blood pressure, right? Thyroid, PCOD, arthritis, fatty liver. obesity, most of these things you can actually prevent by adopting the less number of meals, right? And toxins, if you are actually giving the time for your body, it will actually remove the toxins on a regular basis. And gallbladder stones will not happen, and fermentation will not happen. That is how you will be able to actually come out of this stomach discomfort. Okay, IBS, ulcerative colitis, majority of these issues will be slowly healed from inside, right? Without putting anything from outside. And then you will have a lot of time for the healing. So that is how you'll be able to heal any of your health issues, and you'll be able to lose weight, the unwanted fat, right? You can easily lose, and you can balance the hormones. Very important when it comes to mental and emotional health. So that is why it is recommended to have less number of meals, right? So that is why I think everyone might have heard, right? If you eat once, yogi. If you eat twice, bogi. If you eat thrice, rogi, right? There is a quotation over there, right? So that is why it is very much recommended to eat less number of meals, right? It is nothing to do with how much quantity you are eating, right? So the quantity could be anything. It depends on your body type. It depends on what you require. It's not about the quantity. It's about the frequency. Frequency of the meals should be lesser. So here, most of you will get a doubt, right? I know that most of you get it. So let's clear it. What if I am suffering from acidity and digestive problems, right? If you might have consulted a doctor, maybe gastroenterologist or any doctor, they would have already suggested you don't take too much of food at once, right? Don't take a big meal. Eat small meals, right? Throughout the day. And surprisingly, even from Healy also, your nutritionist, your doctor might have suggested you to take small meals throughout the day. Don't take big meal, right? Am I right? And let me uncover this secret. My dear friends, let me give you an example, right? So what is best for human body? Is it doing a physical activity throughout the day, or being lethargic, just sleeping on the bed, right, throughout the day? Which one is recommended for the human body to be able to healthy, right? Physical activity, having good physical activity, or sleeping on the sleeping on the bed throughout the day? Which one is recommended, right? Obviously, when you have a physical activity, right? When you go out, when you run, when you do yoga, when you do swimming, right? Every time you do more physical activity, your muscles will be very much active, blood circulation would be better, and naturally you will have better health, right? But my dear friends, let me ask you one more question. What if, because of bit of little bit of accident or bit of slippery floor, okay, there is a broken bone, okay? So what happens here? If I ask that person who has a broken bone, go and do the physical activity, do yoga, go for swimming, just go for walk, what happens? It becomes worse, right? This cannot be healed. My dear friends, same thing happens, right? When you have acidity or digestive problems, you have a damaged gut lining, right? You have an inflamed gut lining. Because of that, if you eat large, bigger meal, if you eat food that is quantity is very much, what happens is it will put a lot of pressure on the walls of your gut lining, and it may create irritation, particularly people who are suffering from gastritis, stomach ulcers, or inflamed gut, people who are suffering from acid reflux, right? It may put a lot of pressure. So it cannot be healed, right? That is why, for the time being, it is recommended to eat small and frequent meals, right? Till then, till when? Till you heal the digestive issues, right? Here also, if you take the example of broken bone, till when you are actually recommended, you will be recommended to, like, don't go out, just take rest, sleep on the bed. How many days? 30 days, 45 days, 60 days maximum, right? After 60 days, what happens? Again, it is good to have the physical activity. Same way, if you are suffering from any kind of acidity or digestive problems, it is recommended to start taking the frequent meals, small meals. But that doesn't mean that is the good habit throughout your life, right? That is for the next 30 days, next 40 days, next 60 days, next 70 days. So that slowly your body, your gut lining is healed. Over a period of time, again, you will have to turn to less number of meals, right? That is why consult your nutritionist, right? Don't do anything on your own. They are going to help you. What is recommended for you at this stage? But remember, it is the basic principle, right? After once you healed your acidity and digestive problems, it is recommended to have less number of meals. Ideally, it should be 3 meals a day. Whatever you eat, cover it in that 3 meals. Okay, don't do any snacking in between. And if you are someone who is suffering from any kind of health issues, you want to lose weight or you want to reverse any metabolic issues, then 2 meals are recommended for the time being, right? Yeah. So, and I'm gonna give more clarity about that in the upcoming sessions when we are going to discuss about the metabolic health issues. So why we gain weight, why we lose weight, okay, what should be done? All these things we are going to discuss in another session. For the time being, I'm only focusing on frequency of meals. It's not about the quantity of meals, right? The less number of meals, the less stomach acid, the less insulin production, and the less bile production, and the more healthy you will be and more healing will be done in your body, right? As simple as that. If I have to put the entire session into one simple sentence, as simple as that, right? So that is why wait till your acidity and digestive problems get reversed, and then slowly reverse the situation and eat just 2 or 3 meals a day, maximum 3 meals a day. That's it. Don't do any snacking, right? Once you stop snacking, taking anything in between, right? Even small fruits and all these things, once you stop it, you will be able to see your healing will be much improved. Okay. So yeah, that's about the frequency. I hope everyone got clarity. If you have any doubt, please put it in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. And regarding any personal questions, don't put in the chat box, ask your nutritionist, because I cannot answer all the questions over here, right? So just ask your nutritionist, they'll be able to help you, right? Just put the question in the WhatsApp group, they will answer by the end of the day, right? And the next thing is, so till now we discussed about when to eat, right? Is it 2 meals, 3 meals, 5 meals, 10 meals a day? Which one is recommended? So we understood and we concluded. And now I'm going to discuss about one important practice, right? Which is going to actually change the way you eat the food, the way you digest the food. Okay. Simple practices. So let's discuss about how we eat. The first thing is, every time you are going to eat a meal, be it breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. When plate is in front of you, I want you to practice this 1 minute meal prayer. How many of you practice this already? Meal prayer, right? Before starting the meal, you just take little time. Maybe it could be as simple as 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute, right? So what happens if you have the meal prayer? Number one, it will actually prepare your body for the better digestion, right? It will prepare your body to produce the right kind of stomach acids, digestive enzymes, right? How it happens? Let me give you an example, right? There is a couple and husband went to office in the morning, and in the evening at 7:30 p.m. he comes back from the office, and he told wife that in another 1 hour we have a flight to Andaman, or let's say Mauritius, right? We are going to have vacation on this weekend. For the next 3 days, we will be on vacation. Let's pack the bags. In 1 hour, we have a flight. What happens? What is the condition of wife? How does she feel? Frustrated, getting angry, because how about packing the bags? How about my clothes? How about the food? What to eat? Because of lack of preparation, if you do anything suddenly, what happens? It will leads to frustration, right? Anger, because there is no preparedness, right? You did not prepare. Let's imagine another case where husband already informed the wife 1 week ago, right? Before 1 week, he told that we are going to go on a vacation. Let's pack the bags. And today, husband comes and says that in another 1 hour, we have a flight. What happens? She doesn't get angry. She's not frustrated because she knows it, right? There is a preparation. Same thing happens in your body, my dear friends. If you prepare your digestive system for the food, it will actually work more effectively when it comes to digestion, right? If you don't prepare your body, if you don't prepare your digestive system, immediately you go and grab the food, what happens? There is no preparedness. So that's why digestion will not be perfect for most of the people. That is why I want you to have this 30 seconds or 1 minute small prayer before eating the food. See, prayer is nothing to do with the God, religion, or nothing, right? It's about preparing your mind, preparing your digestive system for better digestion. As simple as that, right? If you want to include anything, you can include, but this is as simple as that. So, how many of you are ready to practice this prayer, right? Or in the chat box if you are ready. Okay, great, great, great. I have a simple prayer for you, right? I want each and every one of you just pronounce with me with your open eyes, right? You don't have to close your eyes. I want you to take your right hand on your heart and imagine that there is a food in front of you. There is a food plate, your breakfast or lunch, and just say it out loud with me. I am choosing food that keeps my body healthy, not just tasty. Again, repeat with me. I am choosing food that keeps my body healthy, not just tasty. And the second thing, gratitude. I thank everyone who worked to bring this food to my plate. My dear friends, what happens if you pay gratitude? Your body, your state of mind would be in such a stage where your entire body is filled with the right kind of emotion that can help you to digest the food properly, and it will actually create a good frequencies, the positive environment within you, right? So how many of you think that having this little play, like prayer, like paying gratitude before every meal makes sense? Because the food you are eating, which is on your plate, does not just fall from the sky, right? There are some people, some farmers, by doing work throughout the year, it took them for almost 200 days, 300 days a year to produce that with a lot of efforts, right? And there is somebody who brings that from the farmer to the place where you can buy. And there is somebody who is actually providing that to you. And there is somebody in your home who brought that. And there is somebody in your home who cooked that particular food for you, right? If you don't remember, or if you don't pay attention to at least, if you don't spend at least 5-10 seconds to pay gratitude for them, do you think it makes sense for us? And how do you think that if you pay little gratitude, being thankful for the kind of the food that you have, the greatest opportunity you have, right? How does it feel, right? So that is why I want each and every one of you just write down, just take the notes, or I'll share it in the group. Okay, don't worry, and practice this small prayer, just 30 seconds, 1 minute before eating the food, right? On your meal, just before your meal plate prepared, just take this prayer. It will help you technically to improve the digestion, and emotionally, it will give you a lot of positive energy, right? That will actually help you to reverse even your health issues also. Because I have a person who is Sheila, who is from Tamil Nadu. So she was suffering from these digestive issues a lot. And one day during the session, she felt this particular prayer is very good and she started practicing it. And within maybe 20 days, 25 days, suddenly she started a lot of improvement, right? By just practicing the prayer without changing food much. She has been eating the same food, But by just including this 30 seconds, 1 minute mindfulness prayer, she was able to come out of a lot of digestive issues, and mentally and emotionally she was much, much better, right? That is why it is a very powerful tool. And I hope everyone is ready for that. How many of you are ready to practice this? Okay, wonderful. Great, great, great. And the final thing is the next thing. Just before eating the food, the simple breathing practice, if you can do it, it will help your digestive system to break down the food more efficiently, to digest the food more efficiently, right? How many of you are ready for second simple practice? It looks simple, but very much effective, right? Let's see. This thing is called box breathing, right? So how to do box breathing? Okay, I'll explain you. Before that, I'll show it in the video. Just within 15-20 seconds, you will be able to understand, right? And then I'll make you practice for the 2 minutes, and then we are going to end the session. Okay. So how many of you are ready to practice this box breathing? Let's see how does this box breathing works, right? So box breathing is very simple. Imagine a box in front of you, right? So 4 seconds, breathe in with your nose, and deeply you have to inhale and hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe out and hold it for 4 seconds. As simple as that. Breathe in for 4 seconds, then hold for 4 seconds, and then breathe out, and then right. As simple as that. So how many of you are ready to practice? I want everyone be ready to practice. We are going to practice it 10 box breathing. Okay, we are going to practice. Everyone sit straight wherever you are, spine erect, and just open your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Just open your eyes and start practicing with me. Okay, everyone ready? If you are ready, are in the chat box. Yeah. So when to do? Somebody is asking when to do. I'll tell you when to do. Okay. You have to do it just before you are eating the food. After the prayer, after the meal prayer, just before eating the food. Okay. So that is the best time to practice this box breathing. Right. That is when that is much effective. Right. So essentially, it has to be done on an empty stomach, right? Simply, if it is on an empty stomach, anytime on an empty stomach, you could do it in the morning when you wake up, or afternoon after eating the meals, at least 2 hours after eating the meals. Okay. Even before that also you can do, but initially to get start with, on an empty stomach, you can do it anytime, but doing it just before eating meals, right? Right. Just before eating meals will be much, much effective. Okay. So everyone ready? We are going to practice it. So breathe in, hold, breathe out. Breathe in, hold, breathe in, hold it for 3 seconds, breathe out slowly, hold it. So one instruction, while you are inhaling, make sure that you are inhaling slowly and for the 4 seconds and deeply, more deeply, right? While you are inhaling, your chest should be inhaled and your belly should be filled with the air, which means the how much ever you can inhale, you have to inhale, right? Slowly, but it should not be in just 1 second. Make sure that you are taking lot of air, the more oxygen, right? Then it will be much effective. And while you are in hold, don't put lot of pressure on your body, right? Be light, be relaxed, because if you put more pressure on your body while you are holding, you will get little bit of pains. Okay, so that is why I don't want you to have all these unnecessary pains and all. So that is why be relaxed. Okay, breathe in and hold it, and breathe out completely. While you are breathing out, just empty the entire your lungs, entire belly, right? While inhaling, the belly should come out. While exhaling, while breathe out, belly should go in, right? So that is how you need to practice, right? Let's practice for 3 more times. Hold it for and breathe out. Hold, breathe in deeply, hold it, breathe in. Okay, so how many times should I do it? Right? Ideally, if you do it 10 times, box breathing, the complete box, which means breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. That is called one box, right? 5 boxes you can start with from tomorrow onwards, just before eating meals, with 5 boxes, right? And then you can go up to 10. 10 box breathings can actually help you to completely stabilize your digestive system and to make it more effective, and it gives a lot of oxygen throughout your body, right? You'll be much aware, and it will start healing your body, right? This is also one of the best healing technique, right? Don't consider it as something which is just you are doing it inhaling and exhaling. This is a great healing technique. Believe me, if you practice it every day, right before your meal, or even if you wake up early in the morning, right, on an empty stomach every time, or if you feel stressed, the most important thing is anytime you feel stress, anxiety, angry, any kind of emotional issues, you feel low, you can practice this box breathing. Wonderful technique. It will be very much effective when it comes to digestive issues, reversing the digestive issues, reversing the stress and anxiety, right, improving the digestion. And the most important thing is in the healing process, right? So don't worry, I will share the video in the group. Okay, you can download it, or you can keep it as playlist in your YouTube. You can practice it. Okay, yeah. So that's it for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to take this wonderful health education to you. So I'm so happy, I'm so honored and humble to be able to give this wonderful education to you. And I'm so much happy. And God has given this opportunity for us, right? Wonderful, great. And thank you. I'll see you in another session. And I want each and every one of you to attend every session without miss. And I want you to share your feedback in the chat, right? How are you feeling? Is this session valuable for you? Did you learn something, right? By spending 1 hour, this 1 hour you could have spent by just scrolling through the Instagram, or you can be doing whatever the things you were doing. But this 1 hour, if it adds little bit of value to you, let me know in the chat box. Okay, great, 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 wonderful. I can see a lot of people. Sita ji, thank you. Ashok ji, thank you so much. And there is a question. Famina ji, breathing in stomach should go out, and while exhaling the stomach should go in. Yes, absolutely. Breathe out because you are inhaling, right? Breathe in means what? Breathe in means you want to take as much as air as possible, right? It could be 1 liter, 1.5 liter of air you should be able to take in. That's the best thing to do, right? So your belly should go out while breathing in. While breathing out, you are actually evacuating, right? That is why belly should go in, right? As simple as that. Okay, Basha ji, thank you. Surabhi, Sonali, Sita, Fahmina ji, Sania, Balraj, Sudha ji, thank you so much. Srinivas, Sania, Narendra, Sisira, Sakshi, Suresh, Ashok, Anita, Rajkumar. Oh, wonderful. So your sessions are always interesting and knowledgeable. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it really gives me, I would say, a lot of energy so that I can do better sessions in the future, right? Valuable session. Narendra, Surabhi, it's very much valuable. Good. Amit, Dilip ji, thank you so much. Harish ji, thank you. Ravi, Jignesh, Ramesh ji, thank you so much. Preeti, Sita, Satish, Basha. Okay, great, great, great. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great sleep. Enjoy and get in touch with your nutritionist. And remember, this is a great, great, great journey which you are going to do, right? For the weeks ahead, months ahead. It's a great opportunity for us to learn all the healthy habits, healthy rituals, and practicing it so that it can help us to improve our health, to improve the quality of life, and to inspire people around you, right? Thank you so much. So somebody is asking how many meals should we take? So it depends. I cannot exactly say how many meals you should be taking. It depends on what condition you are in, right? So if you are someone who is suffering from acidity and digestive problems, take 5 to 6 meals, small meals a day, right? It could be anywhere between 5 to 6. But when you start this journey, if you are feeling good, if you are actually healing from inside, if your symptoms are actually going away, slowly you can reduce it to 4 and then 3. And ideally, it should be 3. And if you are someone who want to heal any of your health issues, it should be 2. Taking 2 meals a day can actually help your body to heal from inside. It can actually make 10x of healing. But generally, it is a little bit difficult for most of the people to practice. Don't worry, we are going to make you practice it. Okay. It does not mean that if you are taking 2 meals, you are not taking much and you lose weight, all these things. Okay. Don't worry, I'm going to do a session on that. People who are suffering from acidity and digestive problems, they are not able to eat food, they don't have appetite, they lose weight. Already they are losing weight, and again, because of this diet, you will lose weight. Okay, I'll address this problem, don't worry. Okay, if you need personal recommendation, then your nutritionist and your doctor is going to help you. Okay, very useful session. Satyendra Reddy ji, thank you. Devi Priya, Ranga Swami ji, Dr. R.K. Arya ji. So great to see you here. Every session you won't miss. So happy to see you here. Suresh ji, Anita ji. Yeah, let me stop the screen sharing. Okay. Great, great, great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a great sleep. Enjoy. And I'll see you another day. Okay. Yeah, we will share all the resources in the group. Don't worry. Okay. The meal prayer and box breathing we will share. Okay. Great. And I want you to attend every session live without miss. Please attend all the sessions live without miss, because you know, right, what happens if we provide recording, you will not see it. Even I won't see it. I myself, if I have the recording, we will, what happens is somehow we feel like I'll see it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, somehow, right? So that is why during this next 2 months, 3 months, 1 month, very important to attend all the sessions without miss, right? Thank you so much. I'll see you the other day, everyone.